For a start, let's remove the drum head and set the new one. So what do we need to tune our drum in a good way? You will need to tighten the screws by fingers, so that the screw tips are barely touching the rim. Just barely touching. This will provide the right tension, and after this the drum head will be placed evenly. After we adjust the screws like this. So we take the first screw and make a half turn. Then the opposite screw. We make a half turn. The next screw is clockwise. Half turn again. The opposite screw, half turn. After this, the clockwise screw, half turn. The opposite screw, half turn. We make tensioning like this until the drum head is placed in a good way. And after this, you need to push the drum head center. Now the drum head is a little bit over-tightened, and I recommend to tighten it a bit stronger for a start to ensure the right position for the drum head. After we tighten all the screws, now it's time for the tuning. It is important to tune the top drum head and the bottom drum head at the same pitch. For this, you need to hit the bottom drum head and listen to the pitch. And now we're loosening the screws which are over-tightened. And after this, the bottom drum head again. And when the top drum head is approaching the right pitch, it starts to resonate, and you will feel that it sounds approximately the same as the bottom one. Not so bad? Now I will show you a little trick how to make the alt sound better. You can loosen one screw to make sure it sounds out of pitch. It will add small harmonics in the sound and sustain. Check it out. And by loosening one screw, you can adjust the sustain. And the alt sounds more deep after this. You can also hit the rims to make sure that the drum head placed correctly. So the drum head is tuned up. After this, you can see how the alts are interacting between each other and tune them up at intervals. Can you hear this? As you can see, this tuning creates the melody. So we've dealt with the alt, and now it's time for the snare drum. The snare drum is slightly different from the alt concerning the tuning, and now I will show you how to do this. For a start, let's detach the strings and turn over the snare drum. After this, we take the stick and isolate the strings from the drum head. The stick should be placed in such a way that its ends are on the rim. After this, we are tightening the bottom drum head to the pitch we need. As for my drum set, I tuned the bottom drum head like this. And this is the most interesting part. We turn over the snare drum and put it on the stand. Top drum head is slightly sharp, that's why we will loosen it a little bit. We will need to find the sharp points and adjust the pitch. While we tune the snare drum in the drum set, we need to control the interval of the bottom drum head at the same time. After this, we pull out the stick, attach the strings, and listen the snare drum together with alt. So we figured out the alt and snare drum tuning, and now it's time for the bass drum tuning. So what I do for bass drum tuning? I'm tightening the screws the same way as for the alt, and after I listen how the bass drum sounds in the set. And if there's something wrong, I adjust the particular screws. Let's listen how the bass drum heads sound like. The kick drum head. The reflector. As you may notice, the reflector is tuned in a different way from the kick drum head. The kick drum head is a bit sharper. As for me, I tune the kick drum head pitch together with alt and the snare drum to make sure that there is a treble click and fat bottom in the sound.